You might have made a woman catch feelings without even knowing it. Not because you ran game, not because you planned it, but because you did something naturally, instinctively, that hit her deeper than logic. Have you ever thought, why was she so into me like that? Maybe it wasn't something you consciously did. Maybe it was something you did without realizing it. Something in the way you showed up. Something in the energy you gave off. Today, we're going to break down 6 psychological triggers that could have already made her emotionally hooked on you. And here's the kicker. You've probably already done at least one of these by accident. So, if you've ever looked back and wondered, what was it? This video is about to hit home. Let's dive into it. 1. Intermittent reinforcement. She starts chasing the emotional jackpot. Ever texted back late? Not because you planned it, but because you were just busy, and suddenly, boom, she seemed more interested. That's no accident. That's intermittent reinforcement at work. It's the same psychology behind gambling. Your brain starts craving the next win, not because it's always there, but because it's unpredictable. When you're not always available, but when you do show up, you're warm and engaging. She's not just getting attention, she's chasing it. The unpredictability makes her crave it even more. The unpredictability keeps her hooked. It's almost like a drug. She doesn't know when she's going to get her next hit of your attention, but she's willing to chase it anyway. Let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed that when you pull back just a little, a woman suddenly becomes way more into you? Yeah, that's the power of intermittent reinforcement. 2. Perceived scarcity. You didn't try to act rare, but you felt rare to her. You've probably heard this before. Don't be too available. But here's the secret. It's not about playing games. It's about living your life. When you're not texting her all day, when you have your own priorities, your own friends, your own things to do, to her, that registers as scarcity. And the human brain automatically assigns value to what's scarce. You didn't have to. Say, I've got options, because your actions spoke louder. You showed up with your own life, and that triggered attraction. Not because you were trying to be the catch, but because you weren't acting like she was the only one. And she noticed. Have you ever noticed how when you pull back just a little, she starts giving you more attention? Pew. Idealization, then distance. You made her feel seen, then you stepped back. This one is a big one. You showed her that she was different, special, not in a cheesy way, but in a way that felt real. Maybe you told her you loved her energy, her vibe. You made her feel like she was someone who mattered. And then, boom, you backed off, not to play games, but because life happened. Suddenly, you're not always there. She's sitting with the silence. It's like a movie where the sound suddenly cuts out. Now she's wondering, what happened? Did I mess something up? How do I get back to that feeling? The distance between attention and silence. That's where obsession brews. 4. Emotional projection. She builds the story. You weren't trying to be mysterious, but you sparked something in her. You didn't give her the whole picture, and instead of asking questions, she started filling in the blanks. She created a version of you in her head, and suddenly, you weren't just a guy she met. You became a story. When that happens, she's already half attached to you before she even knows you fully. It's not manipulation. It's emotional projection. And let me tell you, once she's emotionally projected all that into you, she's already emotionally invested. You've got her heart more than you know. 5. Boundary testing. You passed without even knowing it. She flirted with someone else in front of you. Maybe she made a sarcastic jab, Or maybe she playfully pushed the boundaries a little. You could have gotten rattled, but instead you held your ground. You didn't chase, you didn't fold. You stayed calm, cool, and collected. Maybe you even smiled and walked away. That calm reaction? That was the test. You passed it without even realizing it, and deep down, she knew. This guy doesn't fold under pressure. That non-reactivity? It shows her that you're emotionally grounded, and she can't just manipulate your reactions. And that's powerful. 6. Tone shift. Your tone changed, and you didn't even notice. Now, this one is subtle, but it has a massive impact. You were talking, and suddenly your voice dropped just slightly. You slowed down, became more still. Not intentionally, it just happened. And that shift in your tone? It triggered something biological in her. Women are wired to respond to deeper vocal tones. They symbolize strength, calmness, and presence. You didn't do it to be sexy. It just happened. But guess what? That tone shift? It stayed with her long after the words you said. She didn't just remember what you said. She remembered how you made her feel. The way you sounded stuck with her. So, there it is. 6 psychological triggers you might be using without realizing it. You didn't try to make her fall. You didn't plan any of this. But your presence, your attention, your space, your stillness, those things hit harder than you realized. And now, you get why she started catching feelings. So drop a comment. Have you ever done any of these without meaning to and seen her energy shift? Have you noticed the effects after you did these things? Let's talk about it. Until next time, move with presence, hold your power, and own the moment.